The bell rang at exactly 7:30 a.m., just like it always did. Rain tapped against the dormitory windows, and the smell of wet earth mixed with burnt beans filled the halls of St. Augustine Girls' High School. Students in green skirts shuffled toward the assembly ground, but 4 girls in Dorm 4B stayed seated in silence. Ada was the first to rise. She tucked her Bible under her pillow like she did every morning, adjusted her spectacles, and reached for her biology notes. She was top of the class, but lately, her concentration had started slipping. Bella, loud and defiant, applied lip gloss with precision. She stared at her reflection in a tiny mirror and said, "Do you ever feel like this place is too small for us? Like there's something waiting out there, something more?" Tolu, who was brushing her hair beside the bunk, frowned. "Small? You mean the best girls' school in Lagos? What more could we possibly want?" Nina, sprawled on her bed with earphones plugged in, grinned. "She means adventure. And she's right." Bella leaned in. "My cousin is coming this weekend. She'll take me to this club, The Vibe. It's not just a club. It's a lifestyle. You dress up, people respect you. No one calls you a child." Tolu scoffed. "You know this place is crawling with prefects and rules. Even Sister Benedicta can smell sin before it happens." But Bella's eyes sparkled. "You either live, or you just exist." That night, Bella did not return until morning. Her uniform was wrinkled, lipstick smudged, and in her hand was a silver bracelet she hadn't left with. "What happened?" Ada whispered. Bella just smiled. "He called me goddess." The next Friday, they slipped through the hole in the back fence. The streets were quieter than usual. A Kiki stopped for them, and Bella, in a black dress that belonged to her cousin, gave the driver directions. The others sat in silence, hearts pounding. The vibe was neon lights and pounding beats. The bouncer didn't even question their age. Bella knew someone at the door. Inside, it felt like magic. Smoke curled in the air. Men in white kaftans sprayed naira notes on dancers. Women in tight dresses floated past like sirens. Nina gasped when someone mistook her for a Nollywood actress. For Ada, the noise was overwhelming. She stuck close to Tolu, whose eyes never stopped scanning the crowd. Then he appeared. Drex. Tall, confident, dressed like someone from a music video. He walked like he owned the world. He watched the girls from across the room, then smiled at Bella. A dangerous smile. "Y'all students?" he asked. Bella lied. "Unilag. 200 level." He bought them drinks anyway. They danced. Nina lost track of time. Ada tried to keep notes in her head, the names, the exits, the danger. But the rhythm of the music drowned her thoughts. By the time they returned, it was dawn. Weeks passed. By day, they wore their uniforms. By night, they wore secrets. Nina became reckless. She drank more, laughed louder. Ada missed 2 tests. Bella started sneaking phones into school. Tolu began writing in her journal more often. She no longer sang at Sunday Mass. They grew addicted, not to alcohol, but to the thrill. To the whispers. To the eyes that followed them. One afternoon, Bella received an envelope. Inside was a single note: "I see you. Meet me. Tonight. D." Ada begged her not to go. "He's using us." But Bella only smiled. "He's investing in us." Drex invited them to a beach house. It was nothing like they imagined. White walls, soft music, rich men in tailored clothes. They offered champagne, perfume, expensive chocolates. Then came the modeling contracts. Drex handed them forms. "You're all stars," he said. But Ada noticed something strange. The documents weren't just modeling forms, there were clauses about travel, guardianship, control. She warned the others. Bella dismissed it. "This is our big break." Tolu said, "Big breaks shouldn't come with handcuffs." The next night, Drex's tone changed. "Sign. Or go back to your cages." The mansion in Lekki was quiet from the outside. Inside, music blasted through hidden speakers. Women danced. Cameras clicked. Men smoked cigars in corner booths. They were handed glasses of champagne before they could even sit down. Tolu had followed. From outside, hidden by a hedge, she watched. Prayed. Wrote in her journal. Inside, Bella disappeared upstairs. Drex whispered in Ada's ear. Nina laughed with a man who kept asking her age. Then it got dark. Not just the lighting, the mood. Men grew aggressive. One tried pulling Nina away. Ada tried to call someone, but her phone was gone. Drex was nowhere to be seen. A scream echoed upstairs. Then sirens. Police stormed in. Flashlights. Screams. Doors slamming. Some men jumped fences. One officer pulled Ada out from under a table. Bella was found unconscious. Nina, vomiting in the corner. Tolu, gone. The news spread in school before sunrise. 4 girls. Caught in a nightclub scandal. 1 still missing. Videos circulating online. Ada stopped talking. Nina was expelled. Bella's face made it to blogs. Her parents refused to take her home. The principal resigned. Sister Benedicta cried. And Tolu disappeared. Until one afternoon, a new junior student cleaning behind a locker found a book. Torn pages. Smudged ink. Tolu's journal. If something happens to me, one page read, it was never an accident. The school contacted police. Ada broke her silence. She led them to Drex. Wore a wire. Got him talking. He confessed to everything. That night, he was arrested. 3 weeks later, a phone call came from a church-run rehab center in Ibadan. A girl had been dropped off. Barefoot. Traumatized. Barely speaking. Tolu. She had escaped the mansion that night, walked for hours until she collapsed at a chapel gate. It took weeks before she could speak again. But when she did, she told it all. Investigations reopened. A network of trafficking disguised as modeling agencies was exposed. Several politicians were arrested. Bella's cousin, the one who introduced her to Drex, was found fleeing the country. 6 months later, Bella started an NGO, Girls Rise, supporting young girls vulnerable to trafficking. Nina, now a mother, returned to school with her baby girl. Ada won a national award for her speech on peer pressure and resilience. Tolu sang again, this time, at the school's Christmas service. Her voice carried pain, but also hope. Their story made headlines. Documentaries were produced. Interviews aired on national TV. The government passed a new law, Tolu's Act, mandatory background checks on modeling agencies and entertainment recruiters. One senator visited St. Augustine Girls' School and held Tolu's hand on stage, publicly apologizing. Girls across Nigeria wrote letters. Thank you for surviving. You saved me. I won't make the same mistake. Drex stood trial in a courtroom packed with media. He wore a sharp suit but looked smaller than before. Ada testified first, voice shaking but eyes steady. Then Bella. Then Nina. Tolu arrived last. Her voice, calm, powerful, filled the room. He told me I was powerful. He made me feel seen. But what he really did was erase me. The judge delivered the sentence, 55 years. They met again. Not as schoolgirls, but as women. Ada was working at the Ministry of Education, rewriting safety policies for girls' schools. Bella, a guest speaker at international conferences. Nina, teaching at a center for teenage mothers. Tolu. She published a book, The Fire We Survived. It became a national bestseller. They returned to St. Augustine. The dormitory had changed. New paint, better security, counseling rooms. But some things stayed the same. The rain tapping on windows. The morning bells. And the dreams. They entered dorm 4B together. stood silently, and then smiled. They abandoned school for nightlife. They were almost lost. But from fire, they emerged. And now, they shine.